Chevrolet and AEV have done it again. I have all the information, the pictures that you need to know of the just released 2024 Chevrolet Colorado ZR2 Bison off-roader. So with that, let's get going. All right, so here's the deal. A few weeks back, maybe even more than that actually, probably a little over a month ago, I had shown pictures on my Instagram profile and Facebook profile of a heavily camouflaged, but still you can see through some of it, teasing photos of the new ZR2 Bison Colorado, the 2024 model, that is. And they have released it today. I have all the information and the pictures for you of that amazing collaboration, again, between AEV, that is American Expedition Vehicles, and Chevrolet. They've combined forces to, once again, make an amazing, and I think it's much even cooler and much better than the outgoing ZR2 model that they, Bison model that they collaborated with on the older generation. This one is something phenomenal. So let's go over it. And first and foremost, let's just talk about what is the ZR2, what the ZR2 has to begin with, and then what does the AEV edition, of course, add to all that. And of course, we know this year is all new in terms of the whole redesign for 2023 of the Chevrolet Colorado. So the ZR2, of course, was the off-road version, the most off-road version you could get of this truck for the 2023 model year, of course, with the ZR2 Desert Boss being like the cream of the crop with some extra features on it. Of course, the Bison is going to add to that, and we're going to talk about that. But first and foremost, what does the ZR2 have? Again, of course, it's a crew cab trim only, 5-foot box only, 2.7 liter 4-cylinder offering only. And again, it does have the, what they're going to be calling the Turbo Max, what they call the high output right now. It's got 310 horsepower, 430 pound-feet of torque with that 2.7 liter 4-cylinder turbo mated to an 8-speed transmission. So it has all that. Now, of course, being an off-roader, it has these the Multimatic DSSV suspension. It's got some skid plates, of course, underneath. It's got a 3-inch factory lift on this truck as opposed to 2 inches on basically the other models. Internally, digitally, electronically, I guess you would say, it has an 11.3-inch color touchscreen, fully programmable digital screen in front of the driver as well. Leather interior, remote start. You have the option for sunroof. The thing comes obviously, pretty much loaded in that respect. LED headlights in this one. Some safety features come as standard. So again, these are like all of the things, of course, that the ZR2 right now is bringing to the table. But what is it that the AEV edition offers that makes it just that much better when it comes to off-roading? Oh, but wait, actually, it does one more thing. It has, of course, which is a big deal in this truck, is it has the front and rear locking differentials. That is another big thing that the ZR2 has that, of course, the AEV is going to adopt. But let's go down the list of what's different. And by the way, I am going to talk about a little bit, some dimension differences between these trucks too, because there's a couple little things that are different dimensionally between these two trucks as well. But first and foremost, one of the cool things it has an AEV race spare tire carrier, like you're seeing on the Chad Hall race truck, that kind of a thing. Two reasons for this. Number one, not two reasons for this. Number one thing I want to talk about this is the fact that it is a standard feature. I've asked Chevrolet, this is not going to be an option. This is a standard feature. Secondly, and in part with that, I guess the reasoning for that is because something I'm going to get to actually later in the conversation with these tires makes it so that it wouldn't fit under the truck if you wanted to anyways. But we're going to get to the tire situation in a second because that's something pretty exciting too. It has segment-exclusive Multimatic front and rear jounce control dampeners. Of course, I already talked about the fact that it has the Multimatic DSSV suspension. Now they have that bottoming out control, basically. Those dampeners are also Multimatic. So that's really high-end, really cool to see in this truck. It's got, of course, AEV badging on the outside. It's going to have AEV badging, of course, on the inside as well. On the headrest, you're going to have all-weather liners with AEV badged as well. Of course, like you see in the bigger trucks, it's going to have the AEV heavy-duty winch-capable front bumper. It's going to have the AEV rear bumper as well, of course, another, hardcore steel, aggressive off-road bumper. As you can see, it definitely has some more aggressive, bigger fenders. These are AEV front and rear fender flares. It's going to have segment-exclusive, and here's one thing I want to talk about, segment-exclusive 35-inch tires. Yes, these are coming standard with 35-inch tires. We have not had that in this segment before, and definitely obviously not in the Colorado. That being said, what's interesting about it, one of the dimension comparisons I want to talk about is I will tell you that the regular ZR2 has 285 70/17 tires, whereas the Bison carries a 315 70/17, and actually the rim size is a bit different as well. It's an 18.5 sorry, the wheel size, sorry. But anyways, as far as the wheels themselves, though, by the way, they have 17-inch beadlock capable wheels. And back to the tires for a second, by the way, those are obviously, you know, mud terrain tires, clearly. But 17-inch AEV beadlock capable wheels as well. It's got boron steel skid plates and rocker protectors, and that you know, results in the best in class underbody protection. As far as, you know, some of the other dimensions, it's got best in class approach angle, departure angle, and breakover angle. The approach angle comes in at 38.2 degrees, departure angle 26 degrees, and breakover angle at 26.9 degrees. So again, being an off-roader, those are obviously important measurements to you. For a lot of people, that might be gobbledygook to hear, but I know that for a lot of you, those numbers for, you know, a mid-sized truck are really good to hear. And just in keeping with that, I want to compare the ZR2 and the ZR2 Bison in those measurements. So the approach angle, which I find interesting, but I think I kind of know why. It's almost the exact same, but actually the regular ZR2 has a slightly by 0.4 degrees better approach angle, and that is because, of course, the bumper, if it's winch capable, I know this is happening in the full size 3/4 ton trucks, full size for sure, pardon me, that the winch capable part does sit a little bit lower, which of course, you know, negates a little bit of that approach angle, but really, again, not much. 38.6 is what the ZR2 carries versus 38.2 for the Bison. The departure angle, though, 25.2 for the ZR2, 26 for the Bison. Breakover angle, 24.8 for the ZR2 and 26.9 for the Bison. So again, those are some differences there. Now, as far as the ground clearance, again, best in class ground clearance that this ZR2 is carrying. Of course, obviously the tires and everything else help with this. The ZR2 had a 10.7. The Bison is coming in at 12.2 inches of ground clearance. That is pretty cool. And then as far as the weight's concerned, though, that is going to obviously play a factor in its, you know, payload capacity as well as its towing capacity. And I'm going to go over that right now. The ZR2 weight comes in at 4,940 curb weight, 4,940 pounds, obviously. And the Bison comes in at 5,265 pounds. So obviously a difference in weight there, which again translates over. So the payload of the Bison is going to be 1,050 pounds. That is versus the 1,280 that you would have had on the ZR2. And towing is dropped from 6,000 pounds that the ZR2 has down to 5,520. Pardon me, 5,500 for the Bison. So, I mean, what a great truck this is. Now, they didn't give any fuel mileage, didn't give any, you know, 0 to 60 times, that kind of stuff. This thing does have the launch control in it, which, of course, you can use with Baja mode and only in Baja mode. The launch control, by the way, works in both 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive as well as Baja mode. So there's some really cool things coming with this because, again, you know, I didn't talk about this off the start of the video, but, you know, it has all the different drive modes, like, you know, terrain mode and so on. Those are all these things that have been incorporated that you've already seen in videos I've already done about the ZR2 and other Colorados. This is going to have this AEV edition and that much more. And of course, what a great looking truck this is. You can just see by looking at it how much more aggressive it is. Those 35-inch tires definitely look amazing on it. I cannot wait, Chevrolet, to get behind the wheel of one of these things so I can really tell you how it performs, not just by sitting here behind the desk and getting excited about the things that I see it's coming with. But anyways, listen, until next time, everybody, thanks so much for watching. Take care.